name is Lindsay Lee Hobson, and I work with organisations to elevate their emerging leaders and create the ultimate next generation of leadership. I'm also the founder of the Learning and Development Evolution, where we support and develop career pathways of L&D professionals all around the world. And we do this through training, through industry experts, like the guy standing next to me at the moment, but we'll get to him in just a minute. We do this through roundtables with hot topics, and we do this with access to unlimited resources and also unlimited access to our co-working space in the metaverse. If you're a forum member and you're watching this and you're thinking, what is this? It runs parallel to the forum, so if you're interested to find out more, feel free to reach out and let me know. Now, without further ado, drum roll please, I would like to introduce you to our special guest, who is also one of our forum members, Brett Knowles, who's the National L&D Lead for 6 Degrees Executive. Welcome, Brett.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. It's really great to be here.
We are really excited that you're here.
It was quite the build-up. I should have you every morning just to be my little cheerer.
Set me as your Google Home, so every time.
Exactly right.
Google.
Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure. We are so excited to have you here for a couple of reasons. Firstly, because your topic has been specifically asked for by Evolution members, but also because the Evolution is brand new and you are actually coming to our first ever roundtable. So we're really excited about that because we're just getting started. But we're also really excited because your expertise is all around talent retention, and onboarding too. So tell us a little bit about that. And I mean, you live and breathe in that world, so I'm very excited to hear.
Yeah, it's been interesting over the last few years to see talent attraction and retention really evolve and shift. And we've been working in the recruitment space and recruitment industry for well over 9.5, coming up nearly 10 years. And it's definitely what we are seeing is a shift. And there's lots of buzzwords going on at the moment around how do we retain our top talent? How do we keep our top talent? How do we attract new talent and the competitive nature that exists there? And of course, this big dreaded the great resignation that people are either experiencing or not experiencing, and observing both how external companies, our customers, how they're dealing with it, but how we're dealing with it as well, has been a really, really interesting space to watch over the last few months and last years.
It's been a really big shift, and I know so many L&D and HR managers as well, but so many L&D are really feeling the pinch now with the onboarding process, and organisations starting to really focus in on how to keep their talent and make sure that they're staying long term. And in a couple of our forum sessions actually in the past, you shared so much gold around this topic that, it just made complete sense that we invited you here today. But something that really caught my attention last time we were chatting was very much in alignment with what the Evolution members have been asking for too, which is onboarding is such a key part of this process. So tell us a little bit more about that.
It's where you start. It's the first impression that your new hire, your new team member, your new family member, whatever you decide to call them, has of your business, and it will really determine the success or potential challenges that individual will face. They've gone through that interview process, and you've told them how great you are, and you've spoken about your culture, and then if they come in on that first day or that first week, and that expectation doesn't align, then you're opening yourself to potential challenges. And so that's why the focus is becoming, I think, so much more important on landing and getting that onboarding right. And that's something we've only just recently have reviewed and looked at and we're making shifts and making changes to make sure that we can meet, I guess, the demands that we have when attracting a talent to our business as well. So, but it's the first point of contact. It's literally from the moment they walk in, that you're giving them or showing them, you're unveiling that veil of this is who we are. And if it doesn't meet expectations early in this market, candidates will and employees will vote with their feet.
Yeah, actually, I think it was you that was telling me, and perhaps this has changed since you mentioned it, but it wasn't something like 70-something% of candidates are looking for career progression and training opportunities when they're assessing a job.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, especially in this generation that we're in. So if you look at some of Seek's data that's coming out, the shifts on candidate drivers and candidate motivations across generations, and I say it in generations is because I feel we're really in that hybrid space of a new generation of worker coming through and a new generation of employees and people, and the next leaders are starting to become a bigger portion of the workforce, right? And so if you compare it from a generational perspective, the current generation, the Gen Z generation, the second driver that Seek produces is career development, which is a step up from previous generations. So it's showing us that employers' wants and needs are changing. And if businesses don't adapt to that and understand that, then that's where they'll start to lose talent.
Isn't it interesting? It's such a different workforce these days.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's because, people the next generation coming through, their purpose that they have, and they're looking for more meaning from work. And the world that we now live in, where home and work are the same thing in some cases and are coming together, they're really looking to make sure that those things complement each other and that they've got purpose and meaning from it. So where am I going? What's the next step? How is this helping me achieve my personal goals and professional goals? Are the questions that they're constantly asking. So that's just where we're heading.
Interesting, isn't it? And perhaps this is asking too much in this interview, and you'll share all on Thursday when we're actually in our roundtable. But what's the correlation there with onboarding? How is that impacting the onboarding process?
Well, I guess maybe a little bit of a insight to maybe a shift that we've made. One big shift that we made was actually within the first week, actually sitting down and having a career conversation with them early at that very first point. So we can, at the beginning, identify what are the drivers and what are the motivators and what are they looking for. And then that then supports L&D to be able to create those sorts of journeys to help them achieve that. So it doesn't fall in a secular performance appraisal, which happens every 12 months, and your people come 12 months, I want to make this step, and then 12 months later I want to make that same step, and they haven't really progressed. So that's why onboarding, we look at it now as a holistic approach, and actually let's focus on the individual and let's show them who we are, but let's learn what do you want and what can we do for you, rather than this is how you use the systems, this is how you use this, or this is how you do that. It's far more employee-led and focusing on them, which has enabled us to probably get a little bit more insight and drive some further engagement. So that's why I think onboarding is becoming a lot more important. Less of the technical tick box, read the HR policy, and more focusing on who are you as a person and what are you looking for and how can we help you and how can we support you achieve the goals that you want to achieve, and making sure it's aligned to business goals and business strategies and where the business is going as well. I think that's sort of the evolution of onboarding that I'm seeing. Hopefully I didn't give too much away just then.
I personally think it's so important. I'm all for the shift to people. I mean, we spoke about that a couple of forum sessions ago, people working in a business, but at the end of the day, we're people, and gone are the days that you just hand over this giant document and say, read this, and this is your onboarding manual, and tick all these boxes. And as you said, and I think you worded it so much more eloquently than I'm about to, but we're people, and it's got to have that people focus to it. And I can hear as well so many L&D professionals, second question to that going to be, or first question to that going to be, how do you do that on scale? How do you do that when you're looking to onboard to 400 new talent, fresh talent at a time? Are there any insights you can share with us in this interview around that, Brett? Yeah,
and I think from I guess for us personally, we don't hire on scales. We haven't experienced that sort of space within our network. But I guess what we have seen with some of the clients who may experience that is it's going to be technology, and it's going to be technology led, and it is finding ways to make your onboarding process accessible and easily can be duplicated or replicated around volume work. So that it is a real challenge one, and something again I haven't personally sort of seen within our business. But how you get that accessible to a lot of people, you're going to have to leverage your technology, and you're going to have to rely a lot less on people showing on a one-on-one, and again empowering your people to be self-guided and self-learn through e-learning modules or online modules, etc., videos, etc., to be able to, I guess, make that a lot easier.
And that's one of the best parts about being an L&D professional. I mean, you get a challenge and you know what the solution needs to be, but connecting those dots can be such an interesting experience and part of the fun and the satisfaction. And it's one of the reasons we're really looking forward to having you as our first industry expert for our roundtable in the learning and development evolution. Because given that it's a roundtable, we can really dig into those who are there with us and to their onboarding processes and get your insights into what perhaps others are doing and how that can be applied there, so we can walk away with the best onboarding process possible and fill in those gaps too, which I think is incredibly valuable. And it's so exciting too that for yourself, I mean, you've been straddling the L&D world and the HR world.
Yeah.
For what? How long has it been now?
Yeah, 9.5. Well, 9.5 years in the recruitment industry collectively. Yeah.
Wow, that's huge. And so for you, the insights are going to be second nature, but for us, it's all going to be, a lot of it's going to be brand new information that we can apply to L&D. And one of the things I really love about working with you, Brett, is you even mentioned it before this interview. I mean, you were at a 2-3 day conference, was it last week?
Yep.
Even though it was an HR specific one, you're like, okay, so what learnings can I bring into the L&D world and how can we apply that there? So that holistic approach is going to be such a benefit to all of us. Yep. So thank you so much for joining me.
No worries. I'm excited, very much looking forward to it.
Absolutely, cannot wait for it. So if you are watching this and you are not part of the evolution, reach out and let me know. You know how to get in touch with me. Either send me a message or shoot me an email and we can get you in to join in on this session. Evolution members, get excited because it's coming up very, very shortly. Thank you once again, Brett, and we look forward to seeing you soon.